Hello there, I'm the Star Wars guy. With the Season 7 of Clone Wars coming very soon, I thought it'd be really fun to break down, analyze, and discuss various story arcs from the previous seasons of Clone Wars. Today we're looking at one of my favorite episodes from Season 1, and it's the finale entitled Hostage Crisis. The moral quote for this episode is, "A secret shared is a trust formed." Hostage Crisis tackles major themes such as trust and staying calm under pressure. To very briefly summarize this episode, to free Crime Lord Zero the Hutt, Cad Bane and his group of bounty hunters seize control of the Senate building and take hostages, unaware that Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker is still inside. Now we meet several notable characters in this episode, including a fan favorite, Cad Bane. Cad Bane is a Duros bounty hunter during the Clone Wars. Bane is considered the leading bounty hunter in the galaxy following the death of Jango Fett, and he specializes in fighting Jedi, so you know he's a badass. Next is Aurra Sing, another notable bounty hunter, Zero the Hutt, who's actually Jabba's uncle, and one of the only Hutts that has been heard to fluently speak Basic as opposed to Huttese like Jabba does in Return of the Jedi. And the final notable character I chose to point out in this episode is Commander Fox. While he shows up very briefly at the end, he's the commander of the Coruscant Guard who's responsible for the safety of the Senate and the Chancellor, so of course he shows up in this episode. He's not really well liked by fans of this series because he often ends up being the guy in charge of hunting and detaining fugitives, and if you know the Clone Wars, that would include Ahsoka and Fives, two very well-loved characters. However, in this episode, he simply shows up to arrest the bounty hunters at the end, is told to let them pass, and obeys his orders, so this is somewhat of a small cameo. As the final episode in Season 1, there are quite a few noteworthy moments. Anakin gets tased. This moment shows the chemistry this group of bounty hunters has as a group. They are able to quickly and easily incapacitate one of the strongest Jedi ever through their efficient teamwork. As a fan of the Specialist class in Star Wars Battlefront 2, the remake from 2017, I loved watching Aurra Sing go on this sniper kill streak at the beginning of the episode. Now, if only I could do that in Battlefront 2, we'd be in good shape. Another moment that really stuck out to me was when Bane kills the Senator in cold blood. This is another example of when this show can get not so kid-friendly. It also shows that Bane is not your typical villain who's just all talk. He will follow through. When he says he'll kill you if you move, and you move, he's going to kill you. Where most other villains, they're not going to do anything. And finally, at the end of the episode, we get to see Zero, and we hear Zero's voice. Zero's voice has always stood out to me as being really amazing. I love that they kind of put a southern accent in. And he's just got so much character and drama to him. He's one of my favorite characters in the show.
Oh, it's so bright out here. Why couldn't we do this at night when it's cool?
Now, I thought this was really interesting. He's voiced by Corey Burton, who also is the voice of Cad Bane, who we see in this episode quite a bit, and Count Dooku. One quote that really stood out to me in this episode is this one right here.
East of platform. What was all that? Report.
Protesters against the war. We've taken care of them.
Now, if this is really how the Republic deals with protesters of the war, that really says a lot about the political corruption of the time. Imagine if in modern Western society, if we were just to gun down people that protested a war. That would not go over so well. However, the Republic seems to ask no questions when one of their guards does that exact same thing. This is further evidence of the corruption of the Republic that leads to Anakin falling to the dark side, as well as the rise of the Galactic Empire. Now, Hostage Crisis is probably my favorite episode in Season 1, so I made a couple special notes. First, let's reflect on what Bane just pulled off. He held a group of senators hostage in their own Capitol building. He convinced the leader of the entire Galactic Republic to release and pardon a captive, and he pulled it off without a single hitch, even though Anakin, who's one of the most prestigious war generals at the time, was present. They even try to arrest him at the end while he's on his way out, and he's already put in place a contingency plan to protect himself. This guy is the king of good plans, and we'll continue to see that throughout this series every time he shows up. Bane is very well deserving of the best bounty hunter in the galaxy title. Another thing I noticed is that this is the first time the LEP servant droids are seen in the service of the Republic, as all previous appearances had them as separatist droids. Even though they were non-combatants, they were exclusively seen as part of the separatists. This is a small but interesting detail that makes me think about the similarities between the Republic and the CIS, the separatists. It's interesting that even the Jedi Council didn't notice some similarities between these two factions that could have revealed Palpatine's schemes a little bit. Another thing, as we go through more and more of these episode breakdowns, you're gonna find out sooner or later that I do not like Padme Amidala at all. In the movies, yes, but especially not in the Clone Wars series. The only word I can think of to adequately describe her throughout this show is insufferable. Now, we will inevitably get into this as we encounter more scenes with Padme, but we do get a sneak peek of her insufferability in this interaction with Anakin. Granted, this is probably the most cringeworthy moment of the episode, as we get a nice animated kiss, which never worked out as intended. So basically, Anakin wants to take Padme away for a vacation for some much needed one-on-one time. She's not having it, she wants to work, she feels that's her duty, that's fine. Anakin concedes and gives her his lightsaber to show his faith in their love. Now, this is kind of a stupid move that almost immediately backfires. Now check this out, notice how the music swells ominously, and we see her start to put the lightsaber back right here. It certainly looks to me like she wasn't even going to hold on to it. However, we're surprised by the entrance of Bail Organa. She hides it up her sleeve instead. Why is she so against the idea of running away with Anakin for a week or so? We may learn more about Padme's character in further episodes of the Clone Wars, but for now, it is what it is. So that'll wrap up my breakdown of Hostage Crisis. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe below for more Star Wars content every single day. Do it. And I'll see you in the next video.